Hey Stitch family, it's Andrew here. I hope you've been doing well. This week's community update is another treat. Certainly was a treat for me. I hope it's a treat for you. It's an interview with a member named Luvenia from St. Peters, Missouri. And if you don't know where it is, St. Peters is a small town in Charles County, Missouri. It's population around 55 to 60,000 and it's near St. Louis, Missouri. The reason I think this is a great story is Luvenia played a role in helping start the community in her local area. And when she joined, it was not long after COVID, and a lot of people at that time, I don't know if you can remember, but a lot of people still had a lot of concerns about getting out to meet new people in strange environments that they didn't know. And that was a great, we learned a lot during that period about how to make people feel comfortable and welcome when they come along. Because there's a lot of, even today, anyone who joins Stitch will have a lot of social anxiety to come out and meet people they don't know. And so we had to learn, number one, how to overcome those things. Number two, how to get a community started in a smaller town. What do we need to do from a Stitch perspective, but what does a community need to do to help members like Luvenia? And Luvenia's story, she joined Stitch after her husband died and she was looking for friends to do things with, but she's now, as you'll hear in the interview and see some of the photos she shared with us about the local community, what it's done to enrich her life. She's done a lot to enrich the lives of others, but it's also come back at her 10 times over because she's now part of this vibrant community where people are coming from all around, not just St. Peters, but all around the local community. So I think this story, it certainly brightened my day. I hope it brightens yours too. And it's a great lesson for all of us. No matter where we live, there's always parts of the community where there could be more that we do, more people to join, more people to welcome, and more diversity in the types of events and activities we do for everyone. So please have a watch. I think Luvenia is a real champion, and thank you, Luvenia, for sharing. And I hope you enjoy the interview too. Let's meet Luvenia. Luvenia, I am so pleased to be here with you today. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, thank you.
Excellent. So we are about to start telling the story of the local community and your involvement in it in the St. Peters area. Why don't we kick off with just, when you joined Stitch, when was that? And what were you looking for originally when you first joined?
Well, I joined Stitch, it's almost 3 years ago. And initially I was just looking for someone to do things with. And before I learned anything about Stitch at all, what hooked me was the fact of the efforts that you go through to protect my privacy and protect me. That was what hooked me. And then once I got to know more about Stitch, I joined because it was more about, it was not a venue that was so much about dating as it was about the people. And that was one of the main reasons I got interested. I wanted to not just meet people, but I wanted to have a purpose, and Stitch kind of gave me a purpose. It not only provided a place for me to meet people, but it gave me the opportunity to help other people meet people.
And you were, at that stage, you were, had you been trying a few other things, or like what led you to that point of saying, I'm looking for something like this? Like, a lot of people don't understand. They're not even sure what they're looking for when they first come to Stitch.
Well, what happened with me was the fact that my husband had passed a few months before that. And I was looking for someone to do things with because we did everything together. And I basically just wanted to get out. I wasn't looking to date. I was mostly just looking to have someone to go out and do things with where I wouldn't be just sitting up at home alone.
Right.
So that was what prompted me to start looking for things.
Yeah. And so initially, though, back then, 3 years ago, you joined, there wouldn't have been much activity in the St. Peters area, right?
Right. When I joined, I started looking for things to do. And there wasn't anyone, when I joined Stitch, there wasn't any activities going on in my area at all. But it was right on the tail end of COVID, pretty much. And people really hadn't started getting out that much then. And so I was really having a problem finding things to do. And finally, I decided, well, I'll start posting things myself, to try to get people. And it was very discouraging at first. And I almost gave up. And the thing that kept me from giving up was an email that you sent out, because I had attempted a couple of events and no one showed up, and you start taking it personally. And an email you sent out that explained all of the emotions I was going through. You also explained how other people were feeling about getting out. And I had explained to you, I said, well, I attempted to have a couple of events and one of them I only had 2 people signed up for it. I said, and they, so I canceled, and you said, oh, no, don't do that. So it was after that I got the email that you sent that explained all of the steps that you go through and how other people feel. And it helped me a lot because it kept me from taking it personal.
It was an interesting time, not just because of that. I mean, I do remember sharing with you that in the early stages of Stitch, particularly if I would go to a new city where we're getting started, I would post an event and, some people would put their name down, but then I would turn up and no one would show up. And
Yes.
that can be really, really discouraging. But I think having had that experience helps me then understand what it's like. But on top of that, because, a lot of people have social anxiety when they first join and someone's suggesting something, but I don't know this person yet. And it takes a little while. But the other thing at the time, as you said, it was post-COVID. So a lot of people were still, I'm not sure about getting out. So that was a very interesting time. It's changed a lot since then. But did you find that what changed first? Was it people's attitude post-COVID, or was it more the fact that you just kept going and eventually people started to come along to your events and activities?
Well, I think it was both things. Because the very first attempt that I tried to post, I decided not to do it because it was too close after COVID. And since this is mostly seniors, my concern was that it wouldn't be safe for them, to get out in a group. And so I thought, well, I'll wait a little bit, before I'll try to post anything else. And then later, I tried posting an event, and then, like I said, I didn't get any response at all with it. And what I found interesting was that the 2 people that did sign up for my event, when I finally got around to scheduling other events, those 2 people signed up again, and they said, "Now you're not going to cancel this one, are you?"
Well, why don't we fast forward and then, because that was right at the beginning and obviously it's a very early time, and we as a community, we're learning a lot about, well, how do you get a community started, particularly one that's maybe not one of the major metro areas, and we haven't got anything started yet, but we've got these interests from people, and we've got Luvenia saying, Andrew, what can I do? And so we ended up learning a lot about how once we've got someone like you, a kind of a leader in the community who, it doesn't necessarily even exist yet, but you're willing to give it a try. And we found ways to actually get that community going. So I'm just going to, you shared a few photos with me recently. I'm just going to share this out. So this is one of your most recent activities, and it's fair to say now your community, or the Stitch community in the St. Peters area, is a world away from when you first started. You're doing, there's a few photos here. What was this one? Just walk us through some of these things you've done recently.
Well, this one, this photo is represent brunch that I had taken some of the members to. It was more or less kind of like a health food place. It was called Wolf's Cafe, and they're known for making their food from scratch and serving the community, with healthy foods and serving the community by purchasing their products and things that they need to make the food from the community. So it's a very popular place, and they graciously allowed me to have the group that I did, because that was their prime time of the day.
Right. And okay. And it's quite a large group. It's, and these people, they're some of them are from St. Peters, some are coming from further away, but there's a whole range, a mix of different people from different places. Is that right?
Correct. Yeah. I had people come there from like Manchester, Missouri, Festus, Missouri, Wentzville, Missouri. They were just all over.
Great. And then I'm just going to skip through a few of them so that you've got bowling nights. I love the Stitch t-shirt, by the way. Is that what you're wearing right now? Stitch t-shirt?
Yes.
I love
Yes,
it.
I bought it with my points.
Love it. Escape room. I love this photo too. You did escape. Good to see you back with us. You got out.
Yes, we finally, this is an escape room that I took the group to, and they thoroughly enjoyed it. I was impressed with how well everyone worked together. It was supposed to take an hour, but they gave us an extra 6 minutes and with a few clues to help us get out of it. But we finally managed to get out of it.
Yeah, well, I've done a few of those escape rooms. So if anyone is watching this and doesn't know what it's like, you get into one of these rooms and you get clues to try to figure a way out of the puzzle. So it's it's a lot of fun. And then this one too, like the creperie. So such a variety of activities, like making food, escaping from rooms, going out, bowling. It's a real blend. Are you finding that are all the events in your area you organise now, or is it much more of a kind of democratic, everyone can throw something up if they want?
It has really grown. I was really kind of concerned because in the beginning, no one else would post anything. And I kept trying to get other members to do it, and they didn't feel comfortable, with the format. They were leery about that and everything. But now there's members everywhere. Everyone's kind of trying to do activities now, and so sometimes we have 3 different people have different activities on the same day.
Yeah.
Whereas before, the only activities were what I had out there, pretty much.
Yeah, and so it just again for you, but also for anyone who's watching or people who've gone through this journey, we get to see this across so many different locations, so many different towns, neighborhoods, and so on, that they go through this journey. Obviously, at the beginning, there's nothing, and often it takes one person. But we don't say that they're really fully established until it's lots of people posting lots of things. And I really like the fact you touched on lots of events on the same day, because that's when you get to that point, you realize that there's people are willing to just suggest things, even if there's something else on, I can't go to that, or it's the wrong time, or too far, or I don't like it. You can post something else. It's not anyone on Stitch can do anything. And when a community gets to that point, and I think you deserve a lot of credit to sticking at it, because we've learned that, it doesn't happen overnight. You have to be a little bit persistent and go, I'm not going to give it up. I'm still getting something out of it. But when you get to that point, there's kind of no stopping it, because then the more that people then feel they can come along, they belong, they feel welcome, they're much more likely to suggest something to people because they go, oh, well, I know these people. But in the early days, nobody knows each other yet. So that journey, taking it from that, I don't know anybody, through to, hey, aren't we one big happy family? That's honestly, the story of St. Peter's is one of my, I think we use that as a bit of a, not just a success story, but a real guiding light for, okay, this is how it works. This is how long it takes. And we just need to have the right people initially. But when you get to a certain point, everyone kind of steps up and gets involved. How many events? Exactly. So how many events would you say happening, on a weekly basis now in your area?
Well, I would say like on a weekly basis, say maybe 3 or 4 a week. Most of them are towards the weekend. And what I have found is that most, being seniors, a lot of people, they don't like driving at night. And a lot of the people are still working. And so that kind of limits what you can have. But then there's still some people that are retired. So I'd say maybe 3 or 4 a week.
3 or 4 a week? Brilliant.
Yeah.
And what we're finding is when a town gets to 3 or 4 a week, within probably 4 or 5 months, it'll be double that. We're roughly doubling the number of activities in active areas every 6 to 9 months, which is really, really cool, just because it shows the power of people feeling included and getting things going. So, Luvenia, on behalf of the community, can I give you a small round of applause
Well,
for what you've done? Because I think you touched on it before. Stitch is about more than just, hey, go and have some fun. There is a purpose behind what we're doing, and we want to make people realize that everyone is so important. You can't have a community unless people are willing to be part of it. So everyone who comes along is playing a role in enriching the lives of others. But it's the people like you who are willing to start things even though there's nothing happening around them, are willing to give it a try, that have really enabled all of that joy, all those photos we just looked at. And I just think about all the happiness that as a result of one person. I think that's really, really cool. So thank you so much. Hopefully you're still getting some fun and enjoyment out of it.
Yes. That was, like I said, I started out looking for people to do things with. And so all of the things that I enjoy doing, I have people to do things with now. Have those people to do the thing. And they're people that I know that they feel, you mentioned about feeling like family. And that's pretty much when we get together, that's how we all feel. It's kind of like a family. I love
it. That's what Stitch is. There's one new T-shirt. Create some joy. That's what we try to do it for each other, and it comes back to us 10 times over. So, Luvenia, thank you so much. Thanks for agreeing to do the interview with me, and I'll see you pretty soon. We catch up on a fairly regular basis, but I'll see you soon.
And thank you, Andrew, for creating Stitch.
No worries. It's my joy. My pride and joy. Bye, Luvenia.
Bye. Thank you.